Hello, people. I just got done doing a video and it died on me and did other weird things, so I'm having to redo this again. So hopefully, I deleted the one I just got done doing. I don't know what happened. I had a power failure and all of a sudden it would not stop. Well, I couldn't do anything for 10 minutes. So I had to redo it. I had to redo it again. Computers. But anyway. Hopefully, this one will not have any glitches like that one did. That was fun for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to fix a problem I know nothing about. This is the Penguin Classics tag about Penguin books, Penguin Classics. First question is, yes, they are the best kind of classics. They are the best kind of series of books to get. Hopefully I'm going to repeat myself what I said before. Hopefully, well, anyway. But I've always read Penguin Classics. I've read them since I discovered them in the 80s when I started reading more and more books on different subjects. I will collect every Penguin Classics I can find. I don't care what the subject is. In fact, more different subjects, the better. The more interesting they are, the better. The more I've never heard of it, the better. I mean, I have Penguin Classic books that I have no idea who these people are or anything, but I like the books. I like the classics. I like these Penguin Classics very much. So when I find them, I will buy them if I can. Doesn't matter what the subject is. I will eventually either read it or I'll just have it. I mean, I collect books, people. I do love books, and I do collect them. So I do like Penguin Classics. I would estimate that I have a little over 100 of them at the moment in this library. I've had 4 different libraries I've had to create over the last 40-odd years for various reasons or another. But I think the last one, I almost had 200 Penguin Classics because it was a big library. It was a big library, and I got lost. I won't go into why or how because I can't do anything about it now. But I had a lot of books about 10, 15 years ago. A lot. I had a few thousand books. I had a lot of them. So I kind of had to start over again. And this is the 4th library I've built. But the Penguin Classics, I've always tried to find. I've always liked finding them. I kind of don't really care too much about the subject as much as I like the idea of the book itself. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I like the subjects. I always like every subject I find. I always think I might be able to read this one day. This might be interesting, so on and so forth. I like finding books I've never even heard of, authors I've never even heard of, and the Penguin Classics always seem to have those kind of books. The only other 2 series that I will collect on purpose are the Bantam War books and the Jove War books. Being a history guy, being a historian, I will always pick those books over almost anything, those 2 series of books. But the Penguin Classics I like. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of the different styles. I have a few of the more recent ones, like, this style. I have a few of this style. I have a few of that style. And I think I know I have the other style, which is earlier than that one. Which is probably the original style of the Penguin Classics. I've always liked them. I like reading them. I like collecting them. Probably collect them more than I do anything else. This chair. Where'd my mic go? I'll get it later. But yeah, I like them. I always have. I've been reading them since I lived in Orlando, Florida. I will collect them. I've had a lot of them. I like books. I can't tell you. That's all I can tell you, people. I like books. I like everything about them. What is your history with the Penguin Classics? Well, I kind of answered that question too already. I see a book, I buy a book. I have an interest in everything. And a lot of times I will get a book because I think it might be interesting to use in a story of mine. I might mention it, or it might be good for research. That's why I collect all the books I do have. I don't have well, as I keep saying, I see book, I want book, I buy book. And yeah, eating can wait for later. That's my theory anyway. Well, so far we're not having any glitches like last time. I literally had a power failure, and the next minute I know, I couldn't stop the thing from recording. There was no screen. There was nothing on the screen, but it was blank, but it was still recording. It took me 10 minutes to delete the whole entire thing. What classic didn't you take with when you read it? This is going to sound weird. I actually didn't take with the Odyssey. And I think it's because I think the Odyssey didn't interest me as much as the Iliad does. I like Homer's Iliad. I love the Iliad. The Iliad is the best book of the two because I like the idea of the gods getting involved and the mortals and Achilles and Hector and Paris and Priam and Agamemnon and all that other historical, mythological, cool stuff. The Odyssey to me just never, I don't know why, because they're written by the same guy and it's pretty much the same people, but it never clicked with me like the Iliad does. The Odyssey is an interesting story, nothing wrong with it. It's great to read, it's fun to read, yes, but it's not the Iliad. There's something almost epic about the Iliad. Whereas the Odyssey is sort of centrally focused on one person, where the Iliad is focused on a lot of people. But I try. I have read the Odyssey, and I read it when I was in my mythology class in college. I wish we had read the Iliad, but we read the Odyssey instead. I don't like the Odyssey. I'm sorry. I just don't. I mean, I could probably read it now, and I might have a different opinion because this was a little over 10 years ago that I read the Odyssey. But I would have to have a reason to read it. But to me, the story of the Iliad is better than the Odyssey. So it just didn't click with me. Favorite Penguin Classic, because he is probably one of the very first writers I ever read who influenced me to be a writer, who influenced me to do a lot of things, was Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and his stories. Now, there are other books over there I have of this that I also could probably put close to first, but as I like Robert Louis Stevenson, he's probably my favorite author of all the early authors in my life that I've read. I've always liked Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because it's my favorite. I'm going to say gothic horror because I think it is I like it. It's my favorite horror story of that time period. And then Frankenstein and then Dracula. And then Carmilla. I have read Carmilla. I do actually like Carmilla. My Heritages. But this is probably my favorite because he's probably the number one influence on my reading life and my writing life. I like Robert Louis Stevenson. I've always liked him. He's one of the few authors that hasn't fluctuated in my like or dislike over the years. He's like Stephen Crane. I still like Stephen Crane. I still like Robert Louis Stevenson. I still like Mark Twain. My opinion of Jack London has changed over the years, but we'll get over him some other time. But anyway, 1940s or 1946 classic favorite book. Oddly enough, I have read all the King's Men by Robert Penn Warren, and that would be 1946. I liked it. It was a good political, and I don't read a lot of political novels. A political intrigue novel where it is interesting. It is a good book. There's also an Algernon Blackwood book that was published during that time, but I haven't read that, so I can't put that down. But he did write. It was a collection of short stories. But I did like all the King's Men. I remember. I think I read that 20 odd years ago, and if I remember correctly, I did like it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I still kind of liked the intrigue and the politics and the characters, and so it was. That was published in 1946, which is when Penguin Classics started. What should be in the Penguin Classics? Well, Edgar Rice Burroughs, At the Earth's Core. Yeah, At the Earth's Core. His Land of Time People Forgot trilogy. I forget what the other third one's called. I believe there's three. But that one should be a Penguin's Classic. I think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World should be one of those classics. Excuse me. I'm trying to think top of my head. I only wrote those down because those are the ones that came to my mind. I like The Lost World. I like Arthur Conan Doyle's Lost World. I wish he had written more of those, but he didn't. I like Edgar Rice Burroughs. I like his Mars books. I think also those would be good classics also to have. And the Penguin Classics would be Edgar Rice Burroughs. Carter of Mars books, the At the Earth's Core books. The Land of Time Forgot I liked because I liked the movies, even though the movies were campy. And I liked campy when I was a kid. I didn't care. They were dinosaurs. They were Doug McClure fighting dinosaurs. Just like The Lost World. I'm trying to think. I think there's one more. It'll come to me. But what would be another Penguin classic? I know Dracula isn't because I don't think. Well, Carmilla should be, shouldn't it? Um, yeah. I'm going to end this because I don't want it to have glitch again. I don't know what that glitch was, boy, but it was like it just stopped running. But anyway, I like Penguin Classics. I've read them since I was in my 20s. I've collected them. I will collect any Penguin Classic I find if I can buy it. It doesn't really matter what it is because I'm fat. I think somebody sat down and wrote a book, even though I've never heard their name. This is a book someone sat down and wrote. It's important. Somebody wrote something. And that's why I collect books. I like collecting books because it's somebody wrote something that was important to them, and it should be read. Whether you like it or not, it should be read or at least saved from destruction or oblivion. I mean, let's see. We usually have a list in here, and I thought I'd read a few and see if I have any of them. But apparently, there's no list. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But they're the top 3 series of books, book publishing series I will buy are Penguin Classics, Bantam War books, and the Job War books. The historian in me likes those books. I've always liked Penguin Classics. I mean, anyway, I'm gonna post this before the computer or the power decides to go out. We had a monstrous hailstorm about an hour ago. Hailstorm, rain. I could hear it. Felt like people were hitting the side of the house with golf balls. It was so loud. But anyway, let's see. Did I miss any questions? What's your favorite Penguin Classic? I already said that one. How many do I own? A lot. Which I can never have so many books, people. Anybody who tells you you have too many books, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. They need to go away. Or repent by giving a book. But I am going to clog out. Behave yourselves, people, because you know I won't. I will see you later. I know it's the 3rd video I've done in one day. I'm on a roll. I must be feeling better. I'll see you later, people. Later.